Hello, I'm Dennis Pullin. One of my favorite parts about being president and CEO of Virtua Health is getting to know our colleagues and the many ways they are here for good. Each person contributes to healthy communities, and each person has a story to tell. Let's meet one. So Jen, thanks for joining me today on Here for Good.
My pleasure.
It's always great seeing you, and I know that you are one of our nursing directors at Voorhees. Tell me a little bit about your role there and what you do.
I am the nursing director on the neuroscience cardiac unit. It's a 48-bed unit. I have about 105 team members on that unit that I have the pleasure of leading. And I am in charge of day-to-day operations and patient care and making sure that our community and our patients are getting the care that they need and deserve.
So before all of that, I know you come from a family of nurses.
So I grew up, my mother was a nurse, and I grew up in a household where she would tell us all of her stories. And my grandmother was a nurse. And when my sister and brother and I all decided to go to school, my mother's heart was broken because none of us chose to go into nursing. My brother went the business route, my sister went social work, and I became an elementary school teacher. And in my late 30s, I had stopped teaching to stay at home with my children. And I said to my mom, is it too late to go back to nursing school? And she said, absolutely not. And I went back to nursing school and earned my degree at 37 years old.
Did your mom or your grandmother encourage nursing, or were they trying to nudge you in the path at all?
They did, but my other grandmother was a teacher, so she was very pleased that I went the teaching route.
What made you decide to change course and become a nurse?
Well, my oldest child was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old, and I had the educational background, but I felt as though I really would like a better understanding of the medical background as well. And it was hard times. It was right after 9/11. My husband was an airline pilot and got furloughed after 9/11, and I needed to earn an income and contribute to our family. And I wanted it to be something that mattered for the world, for the community, for mankind.
So let's go back to your mother, and having a mother as a nurse. And you mentioned that she would tell you and your siblings stories, and it sounds like she was inspiring in many, many ways. Share a little more about your mom.
She was so inspiring, and she did so many different types of nursing. And of course, I didn't get it back then because I wasn't a nurse. Now that I'm a nurse, I realize what a rock star she was. Being on the IV team, she was in the OR. She helped unwed mothers who were pregnant, and she became the childbirth educator to go with these single moms. And when I went to nursing school, and when I first became a nurse at Virtua in Voorhees, I would call her every day on my way home from my shift and give her a report. She knew everything I was talking about and would even give me tips and tricks for nursing. And it just opened up a beautiful new facet to our relationship.
How did your children feel about you pursuing a career in nursing?
Very proud about that. They were younger, but they saw mommy going back to school and just an attitude of, we can do it. I can do it. They saw it was hard work. They saw how much I was studying. They saw me getting nervous about taking my boards and taking exams. And now one of them is a practicing nurse as well as her husband. And my other daughter is in nursing school right now.
I also understand that you work with one of our colleague communities, VisABLE. Right.
VisABLE.
Tell our audience about that.
We are so passionate about this new colleague community. It's many different things. It's brand new. So we're now seeing more and more than we even thought our goals are going to be. So many needs for people who consider themselves to be neurodiverse, having a place where they can fit in, where their talents and their gifts can be utilized in a meaningful way, getting support, finding out resources in our community, resources at our own hospital that are available. And for me, as the mother of a child with special needs, my 26-year-old is autistic, but also as a nurse, seeing on my unit and in our hospital, we have some room to grow with how we take care of this population and how we support the people who take care of this population.
And that in of itself is the primary purpose of these colleague communities, is to bring together individuals that can have sort of a common charge and help us see pathways and avenues as an organization that we might be blinded to if we didn't have the critical thinking, the thought, and the passion from our colleagues to help us, continue to be here for good, as the science says behind us. Tell me about your practicing excellence journey and how you have encouraged your team members to see the value.
The nurses on my team are so busy, the nurses and the patient care techs. I've tried so many different ways to bring practicing excellence to them, whether it was getting them to get the app on their phone or rolling a TV monitor out into my hallway at my huddles and trying to trap them for six minutes to watch it. And what we now have found that the best thing is actually we have QR codes up around the unit and we email them not only the practicing excellence video, but the takeaway key points that come with it.
Are you finding that your colleagues are embracing it and really making practicing excellence a part of their daily routine?
They are, without even knowing that they are. They're not going to call it practicing excellence. It's becoming the culture on our unit.
Your grandmother was a nurse. Your mother was a nurse. You were a nurse. One of your kids. And you have one that's becoming a nurse. Your thoughts about the praxis of nursing and what it means yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Do you see things changing, as we augment nursing with artificial intelligence, as we look at virtual nursing, just the space of nurturing? You've had the benefit of seeing it through the lens of different generations. What's your thought about it today?
That's a great question. It was such a camaraderie, old school nursing, so to speak, for my mother and my grandmother. Was a sisterhood of support and whole focus on patient care. Then when I started nursing school, the patient became the customer. And something in me didn't feel right. There was something very unique, very sacred about the patient-nurse relationship. And customer didn't sound right to me. Now we're getting kind of away from that. And I've really appreciated our new focus being on that human being in the bed, the human experience.
Being human-centric.
And having AI and these other wonderful resources that we're having is going to make that easier for us to do it and spend more time with the human laying in the bed.
At the end of the day, we are people taking care of people. It's clear to me that Virtua has a special place in your heart, both professionally and personally.
Just to see the ideals of nursing and what I learned applied in real life and the standard that is kept in the nursing community, it's very special to me.
Thank you for joining me on Here for Good. Thank you for being a part of our Virtua family.
Thank you so much.
What another great episode of the Inside Edition. So please tune in to hear more stories very much like the one you heard today in the future.